Hi, everyone. My name is Tracy Traxler. I'm the head of institutional relations at the DFINITY Foundation, and I'm incredibly pleased to be joined by our very own founder and chief scientist, Dominic Williams, today as we head into a bit of a chat about AI, the overinflated, the understated, and all things blockchain and AI. Very much looking forward to this conversation.
Well, thank you for having me. I think this is a super important topic, and I look forward to sharing what I can.
Now, of course, Dom, you've been a big proponent of the AI and blockchain combination for quite a while now, and it's driving obviously a lot of the R&D effort that the DFINITY Foundation is focusing on at the moment as well. Can you tell me a bit about what it is that makes you so bullish about this combination?
Well, we're specifically very bullish about AI that runs on the blockchain itself in the form of smart contracts. We're bullish about something else too, extremely bullish about something else too. I can't talk about today, but we'll come back to that. Our viewpoint is a little bit heretical. So we're not so bullish about tokens for AI, and we're not so bullish about deep in GPU networks, albeit they got potential. We're really very focused on running AI on the blockchain.
All right, we'll head into a bit of a deeper discussion about AI as smart contracts in a second, but you just mentioned something that has piqued my interest. So you said that you don't feel like tokens for AI and deep in networks of GPUs, et cetera, will be huge. Why?
Well, look, starting with tokens for AI, you can see there are hundreds of them, on CoinMarketCap. And, we've dug in because we want to understand the space. My general impression personally is that a lot of them are just, peddling sort of snake oil narratives in order to collect, money, sell tokens essentially to degens who don't have the full picture. And, I don't think that really advances the cause of blockchain and AI. And there are a lot of blockchains right now who've got big treasuries, and what they're doing is, going around investing in these Web2 AI projects and saying, look, in return for our investment, you've got to agree to create a token on our blockchain. And, that indirectly creates a lot of hype. And then they can say, our blockchain is the blockchain for AI, and they can sell more of their base token and so on. And the flywheel keeps spinning kind of thing. That's not really what we're about. We're much more interested in, how blockchain technology can add value to AI at a much more fundamental level. With respect to deep in networks for GPUs, I think these things can work, but there are some issues we haven't seen resolved. So, we think in the future that there are going to be millions or billions of custom AI models running, right? And people like Mark Zuckerberg have, made similar claims, and, they hope that, for example, Llama will be, which is an open source AI model, will be used to create a lot of those custom models. And the question is, where are they going to run, right? And, you might think that, well, there's all these custom models. Why won't people run them on a decentralized, network of GPUs? And to understand some of the challenges, you have to consider that, when people choose where to run these models, they're going to look at, capabilities, features, and price. So when you're able to run GPUs inside a single huge data center, you're able to use a lot of special hardware to connect them. For example, so that GPUs can share their memory directly. And you can't do that in a decentralized marketplace so easily. So, if you're renting out the GPU on someone's gaming computer, well, that's a sort of standalone GPU. And in fact, oftentimes for things like training, people, want to use GPUs that are clustered together. So the feature set of, centralized AI clouds created by people like Amazon and Microsoft, or newcomers like Velocity AI and so on, are going to be much richer. And that's so in that case, people will tend to favor the centralized AI clouds over a DePIN network. And it's also the case that they're going to be able to rent these GPUs for far less because they have these economies of scale and benefit from bulk buying power. So I don't know if anyone noticed recently, it came out that Elon Musk had redirected a $500 million shipment of NVIDIA GPUs from Tesla to X and XAI. And I think that, Elon Musk's buying these NVIDIA GPUs in $500 million clips, right? And that gives you an idea of the scale of what's going on. And if you're buying, your GPUs from NVIDIA, directly from NVIDIA in $500 million clips, you've got amazing purchasing power, right? And amazing negotiating power. So you're going to get a fantastic discount. Mm-hmm. So, these organizations running these centralized specialist AI clouds are paying less for the underlying hardware. They're able to consolidate all of these GPUs in a data center and consolidate things like cooling, bring their power costs down. And as I've mentioned, they can do things that you can only do if you've got the GPUs together, like, give them access to each other's memory. So, in the end, like, they're going to win on features and capabilities and price. Yeah. So we're very bullish about, blockchain and AI, but we think the magic combination is when you run the AI on the blockchain, because then you start getting these features and capabilities that you can't get on centralized clouds. So we think that's where blockchain adds value.
All right, awesome. So then let's dive into exactly what those features and special capabilities on the blockchain side are. Obviously, what is then so important about AI smart contracts specifically?
Well, when you run AI as a smart contract, it gains the properties of smart contract software. So there are lots of really valuable properties, actually, but the three main ones are being tamper-proof, being unstoppable, and optionally being autonomous.
Obviously, those are pretty technical terms, so let's break them down a bit. Can you explain tamper-proof, please?
Well, so tamper-proof means that some software is guaranteed to execute correctly, right? And, when you run the software, it always runs the correct logic against the correct data. And another way of looking at it is that it means the software instance is immune to cyber attack. And that's going to be very important because AI is going to become as big a target for hackers as crypto tokens are.
All right. So sort of an inherent security feature. What about unstoppable?
Well, unstoppable means that it's guaranteed to run. Okay. So, by contrast, if you're running AI on current IT, the AI might crash. The computer it's running on might need rebooting. The data center it's in might go down. So that's a very different proposition. If you run AI as a smart contract, it's guaranteed to run. And that's going to be incredibly important because we're going to come to depend on AI.
All right. And let's finish things off with the third one, autonomy.
So when a smart contract is made autonomous, it means that it cannot be, modified or updated by anyone, or it can only be modified and updated by a DAO. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be very important for things like smart wallets, because, if you have a smart wallet with AI inside and it's not autonomous, somebody could modify it and steal your tokens.
All right. I'd love to dive into a bit more of the actual practical application side of things. So can you give me some examples maybe of how AI smart contracts might be used actually in practice?
Well, let's start with an example outside Web3. Okay. I'll start off with an imaginary law firm with 100 lawyers, right? And, it's got a bunch of clients who are battling their way through the courts. And let's say today, when one of these lawyers has to prepare for trial, it takes them 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks of work, looking back at their previous legal filings, case law, and so on. And let's imagine that this law firm installs a kind of custom Oracle AI, and it's based on Llama, and it's keeping its information in an associated vector database because that's what AI needs. This AI ingests, all of the previous communications with their clients, all of the legal filings they've made, all of the relevant case law, important legal texts, and so on. And now all of a sudden, instead of taking like 3 weeks to prepare for trial, the lawyer can do it in 3 days. And not only that, they can be very sure that they haven't missed something because the AI doesn't miss a thing. So that's a huge advance, right? Because, if it takes 3 weeks to prepare for trial, well, that's, very expensive for their client. And in addition to that, when they're doing it themselves, just reading through all this stuff, they could miss something important.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of thing will be absolutely brilliant. But let's imagine that this AI they're running is on current IT. Okay. The first problem we can see is that it's not tamper-proof. And it's going to be like a hot wallet for all their clients' most important data.
I like
right?
that analogy.
Yeah. And it's going to be targeted by hackers. And imagine if a hacker gets onto the infrastructure running that AI. They're going to be able to exfiltrate all their clients' most sensitive data. This will probably ruin their clients' lives, cause them to lose their lawsuits, and probably ruin the law firm. It'll go out of business. So very clearly, it's important that this AI is tamper-proof and the hackers can't get onto it and exfiltrate all the sensitive data, because otherwise it's going to be a hot wallet for sensitive data. In addition to that, imagine, the lawyer, waits, and some lawyer waits until 3 days before trial because he's expecting, he's expecting that he can, use this AI to prepare. And so it's only going to take three days. Otherwise it would take 3 weeks, right? So, 3 days before trial, he sort of logs on and tries to access the AI, and he finds that it's down. Maybe the AI has been encrypted by ransomware. Maybe the server machine that runs the AI has gone pop. Maybe the data set is down. He's going to be absolutely screwed because he's come to depend on this AI, and now all of a sudden it's not running. And that's why this AI just has to be tamper-proof. And by running this AI as an internet computer smart contract, the law firm can be sure, A, that it doesn't get hacked and corrupted by a hacker, or the data exfiltrated, or encrypted by ransomware, or the infrastructure goes down and it's not running when they need it. And this is why, and I could repeat that with the same reasoning with lots of different examples. This is why we believe, yes, there are going to be millions or even billions of custom AIs running in the future, but a large proportion of them are going to be running eventually as smart contracts, because people are going to need these guarantees that they can't be hacked, and they're always going to be available.
All right. I'd love to look at another example that you touched on earlier from specifically the Web3 side of things, and that's sort of in the form of the smart wallet, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So Web3, has the same kind of concerns that the lawyers do, first of all, and they don't want their AIs to be hacked and the data exfiltrated, and they want them always to be available, especially if they're being used in conjunction with other smart contracts. But they have this, Web3 has this additional need for autonomy. So, imagine a smart wallet. So on the internet computer, a smart contract can be a wallet, right? Because it's a multi-chain wallet, because it's able to hold tokens on different chains using something called chain key. And smart contracts on the internet computer can process web. So they can create a web experience, and the user can interact directly with them through a web browser once they've authenticated to them. So you can see this kind of thing at oisy.com, oisy.com. That's an example of a smart contract wallet. Now, in the future, something like Oisy might have an AI embedded, right? Because it's just a smart contract. So therefore, it can have an AI model inside. And this will mean that you can be on the beach, right? And pick up your phone and speak to your smart wallet. And you'll be able to say something like, cancel all previous instructions. If Bitcoin hits $100,000, sell half for USDC. If ETH falls 10% in a day, buy, $500 worth. And every night, buy $100 worth of ICP or something like that. And this is going to be very, very cool because your wallet's going to have intelligence. It's going to be like your personal broker. But to make this work, you need autonomy. Because if that smart wallet wasn't autonomous, that would mean that some developer controlled it or, company controlled it. So, if a developer controls the smart wallet, they can change the code, and they can change the code so it exports all your tokens, typically to their wallet or something like that, right? They can rug pull you or rob you or whatever. And that's obviously very bad. So the way to solve that is, is to create smart wallets where, the code can't be updated at all, or it's only, upgradable by a DAO or something like that. And so the wallets are autonomous. Nobody controls it. There's no backdoors. And you can repeat that example again, across lots of things in Web3. And another example would be, you could imagine an internet computer AI smart contract that audits Solidity DeFi contracts on Ethereum. And if it sees that, there are no bugs, there are no backdoors or other security flaws, it kite marks them and says, hey, this Ethereum smart contract safe to use. But again, unless it's autonomous, how could you trust that kite mark?
How do you know?
For example, if I personally ran that AI and I could update it, well, I could have it kite mark my own malicious Solidity smart contract on Ethereum to steal everyone's ether or something. So, the autonomy property is going to be very, very important within Web3.
All right. So that the golden triangle between tamper-proof, unstoppable, autonomous. Of course, you've done a number of demos fairly recently that demonstrated sort of the AI and smart contract capabilities on the internet computer specifically. The most recent one focused specifically on facial recognition. Can you maybe tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah. So the reason we chose to do a facial recognition demo is it sort of brings home quite how powerful these AI smart contracts are. Firstly, you can actually have one doing facial recognition with practical performance, right? And we wanted to do that partly because we wanted to show how far we've advanced, the performance of AI smart contracts. So when we did the facial recognition demo, it was running probably almost 10 times faster than the first AI smart contract demo, which had only been done a few months before. And that reflected that just a huge amount of work that's been done behind the scenes. At DFINITY, we've been working away, making improvements, adding this thing called SIMD instructions, which allow multiple instructions to be executed in parallel to the execution environment, and proposing those updates to the network nervous system, the DAO that runs the internet computer, and getting them into the network. And I wanted people to see the results of all that work. But as it turns out, there are tons of applications of smart, facial recognition by smart contracts, and a lot of people are now playing with it, and some have reached out to us for support and guidance on how it can be used and things they should do. So that's been a huge success story.
Nice. Some exciting things in store. Now, of course, I would be amiss if I didn't ask. I think everyone wants to see large language models on the blockchain. Where are we on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've said many times, you're going to be able to have a chat with the blockchain. It's coming. And in fact, there are very cut down large language models on the internet computer already. But, we're focused on getting like really sophisticated large language models like Llama 3 onto the internet computer. So the primary current limitation is that the internet computer execution environment runs smart contracts that can have a maximum of 4 gigabyte of persistent main memory. And that's because it's using 32-bit WASM. A bit like Windows 95 was 32-bit back in the day.
I remember Clippy.
So, soon, we're going to put proposals into the network nervous system that will move the internet computer to 64-bit WASM. And that will make it possible to increase the amount of persistent main memory that smart contracts have as needed. And we're sort of hoping we can, increase it to something like 15 gig, which will enable you to fit for example, a 7-8 gigabyte distillation of Llama 3 into a smart contract, which will be absolutely mega, because that's a very sophisticated large language model. So obviously there's a lot of work behind the scenes. DFINITY is, a big player in the WASM WebAssembly ecosystem. Actually, the one of the first few team members, a guy called Andreas Rosberg, was a co-inventor of WebAssembly, and that helps. It's also the case that increasing the amount of persistent main memory that smart contracts have requires a lot of other protocol updates and improvements. And so, DFINITY is working on that, and we'll put that into the network nervous system too. It's a non-trivial thing, but we're going to get there. And we're going to be able to run large language models on the internet computer. And once we've done that, I think the next big milestone for AI will be Gyrotron, which involves getting GPUs onto node machines, which will take us a whole way further with respect to performance and efficiency. Albeit, the reason that you run AI as a smart contract isn't because it's the most efficient way of running an AI, right? The reason you do that is because you want it to be tamper-proof, you want it to be unstoppable, and in the case of a wallet or something like that, you want it to be autonomous.
All right, and to finish us up, there's been a lot of chatter on X, largely initiated by you, regarding something other than AI smart contracts.
Yeah.
Sort of another advance, if you want to call it that the internet computer has in the pipeline. It's been teased. I'm going to ask cheekily, can you speak in your cryptic ways about that a bit?
Well, I can't tell you what it is. I mean, we're aiming to get this out in early September, in beta form, but people will be able to use it. And, I'm itching to talk about it. I'm itching to show it to people. I'm so excited. It's got me, probably more excited than anything else for a very long time. And, running AI on blockchain is like the first big advance the internet computer delivered in this space with respect to AI, but there's another big advance coming. And when you see it, you realize that the future of tech is going to be completely different. And it's a real game changer. And what's really cool about this thing is it crystallizes so much of the work that we've done over years and years, creating this like novel third generation blockchain, which hosts this secure, unstoppable, autonomous, serverless code where you can literally build everything end to end on this decentralized network. And it's something, again, that the internet computer can do uniquely. So currently, as you know, only the internet computer blockchain can run AI. There's lots of blockchains doing like tokens for AI and all this kind of stuff. And there's only one blockchain that can run AI as a smart contract on chain, and that's the internet computer. And this is going to be a bit like that. It's something that only the internet computer can do. And I think it shows, closes the loop and shows you how tightly woven AI is going to be with the future of tech. And it's one of those things that you look at and you just go, wow, this is incredible. This is a game changer, but people will have to wait. I mean, I'm going to have to wait too, because I'm desperate to talk about it and show people and get discussions going. But it's not long now, right? Like less than 5 weeks, 4.5 weeks.
I mean, consider yourselves teased. I imagine people are shuffling their calendars right now.
I mean, look, I canceled half my holiday. I was meant to be on holiday, and the reason I did that is to make sure that this thing stays on schedule and get this out, and we get it out. So it's that important. I'm super excited. I'm just desperate to share it with people, but it'll have to wait. It's not long now.
What a fantastic note to end on. I think we can wrap it up with that. Dom, thanks for taking the time. Thank you all for
thank you, Tracy,
checking us out, and looking forward to hopefully having exciting news to share within the next couple of weeks already.
Yep. Cool. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.